G4JKZ.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, everyone. This is Oscar November 8, November 10, Pennine, Ham Digital Net. As Jeff Mike Zero AUG is on his way to Newark, I'm sharing the net for this evening. So welcome to everyone, and also welcome to everyone who is probably on YouTube. We will hear more about that. Very welcome to the net. And first of all, let's remind that it's a good idea to leave 3 to 4 seconds between overs, because that makes the system possible to change and to settings again, and so on and so on. And there is also a limit of 3 minutes. So after 3 minutes, you will be thrown out the chai. Okay, no. I think the first on the list is Jim, Golf 4, Juliet Bravo Alpha. Jim, go ahead from 08 November Tango.
ON8NT.
Nothing heard from Jim. We will try Paul, but Paul is probably on his way to home or so, and sometimes he is breaking in from where he is taking the bus. So G0 Tango Victor Bravo, the group of 8 November Tango. Are you around, Paul? Nothing from Paul either. Is there anyone on GB7 Hotel X-Ray who wants to take part in the net? Anyone from GB7 Hotel X-Ray, please go ahead from 08 November Tango in the group. Although there are probably some listeners out there. Okay, no. So we will have to behave. Nick, call for India Whiskey Oscar, the group, 08 November Tango. Go ahead, Nick.
ON8NT and the group from G4IWO. Yeah, good evening, Jeff, and everyone else on the net this evening. And good evening as well to our viewers and listeners on YouTube live this evening. I see Terry, G7WRS is there, so good evening to you, Terry. I hope for those on the net in the UK, the weather isn't too bad where you are. It's been extremely windy and pretty wet up here in the part of the Pennines that I live in, and I think it's going to be lasting for several hours. I'm just hoping that the journey tomorrow morning down to Newark for the Hamfest is going to be okay. Going to leave home about 5:30 tomorrow morning. So back to you, Jeff, and more on the next over. ON8NT G4IWO.
IWO, 08 November Tango. Yeah, well, we have about 18 degrees, and for the moment there is thunderstorm and lightning going on here just where I live, and heavy winds, and tomorrow even more rain, winds, and thunderstorm and lightning. So that's the situation here at my place. So I hear it more or less the same at your place. Okay, no. Let's go to 80. Wolf 6, Mike, Juliet, Quebec, the group 08 November Tango. Go ahead, Adrian.
ON8 November Tango, G6MJQ, Skelmanthorpe, West Yorkshire, where it is also very rainy and breezy. Probably not as breezy as where Nick is, but we're over 700 feet above sea level here, overlooking Emily Moor and the Emily Moor mast when you can see it about 2k away, something like that. And I looked out early before it got dark, and it was strange. I could see the top of the mast, but not the bottom. So a very low cloud. Yeah, back to you, Jeff. ON8, November Tango, G6MJQ.
G6MJQ, the group ON8 November Tango. Yeah, thank you, Adrian. I can imagine with that mast. I have also maybe some 7 or 8 kilometers of mast from our local radio and television. And from my apartment, I can see the lights in the evening. I can see the lights which are there for the planes, I think. So yeah, that's fascinating. Let's go to Peter. Mike Stroh, Papa Bravo Foxtrot, our weatherman of the group, I would say. You will probably have to share some news about what we could expect in the coming days, Peter. Mike Zero, Papa Bravo Foxtrot, the group ON8 November Tango.
Oscar November 8, November Tango, Mike Zero, Papa Bravo Foxtrot. I hope you can hear me tonight, which you couldn't last night. I have the problems I've been having with the sound card on my computer. I have FT8 where I can receive perfectly, apparently transmits, but if I check the aerial, nothing actually is coming out because nothing is coming out of the sound card. And then I had an Oldham Club meeting on Monday evening, and I have to use Zello to talk to John in Milne Road. There's a hill between me and Milne Road, and I could hear everybody on Zello, but nobody could hear me. So last night's incident was just a part of an ongoing saga, but one I haven't yet to solve. So there we go. Oh, and the weather. Well, at the moment here, in beautiful Uptown Staley Bridge, for those who don't know, I live just outside Staley Bridge on the way to Gloucester, about the same height as Adrian there, but on the way up to Gloucester, about 700 feet. It's 9 degrees, dropping at 1 degree C an hour at the moment. Quite a low barometer, 987 hectopascals. And the wind is about 10 knots from the north to northwest. So that's what's driving the temperature down. The winds coming in from the northwest. So I guess overnight, given that the temperature probably go down to about 7 degrees overnight. I'm just wondering whether I'll still my duvets. It's going to be warm enough. So there we are. Back to you, Jeff. ON8 and T M0 PBF.
PBF. The group ON8 November Tango. Thank you very much for that report, that weather report, Peter. Okay, though, and sorry to hear about the sound card issues. That's it's probably a Windows machine. That's why I keep my FT8 activities on one PC, and I do other stuff on another PC just to not run into problems. Although my main machine is Linux and I don't have that much problems. Not with sound card, at least. Okay, though, it's 7 degrees or 9 degrees, you said. That's quite chilly. We still have 18 degrees. Okay, though, over to Mike and Adriana, with which we had an after party after the meeting yesterday evening with some other guys. So we had some good fun there and some good discussions, I think. Delta Lima 1, Bravo Juliet 50, and Delta Lima 8, PDT, the group of ON8 November Tango. Go ahead, Mike and Adriana.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Very good evening to all. It was quite nice yesterday, after the talk especially, but also the talk was very interesting. And I think Nick mastered the situation again admirably, and everything was okay. So, a good evening. The WX, it's the same over here. 30 minutes ago, we were quite surprised by weather warnings from the local weather forecast here that heavy thunderstorms were approaching rapidly. I've darted out into the garden and cut the lines into the house from the antennas. Everything should be okay now. I hope so, keeping my fingers crossed. I can't explain why these warnings have to be so short before the event, and can't be seen a little bit earlier so that one can react more quietly. Well, Jeff, as you said, the weather at your side is quite similar, and we always get your weather HI. So perhaps next time I will not look into the weather forecast here, but give you a call, and that should be more precise, I think, HI. So far from my side, passing the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Very good evening to all of you. This is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Yes, as Mike said, autumn has arrived here. And this is not very comfortable at the moment. So we'll have to do our very best to this, perhaps to figure out how to solve some kits also. This might be alternative. Yes, yesterday was a very interesting meeting, and there will be, I think, many interesting things which which will come up in the club. So I'm looking very forward to this. So with this, I hand the microphone back to Oscar November 8, November Tango.
Yeah, Roger. Mike and Adriana, Delta Lima 1 Delta Lima 1 BJ, W and Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango. You can always call me if you want to have the weather report. That's probably a good idea. And by the way, a good evening to Terry on YouTube there, and probably some other listeners. By the way, there was a research in the news about thunder and lightning. And there seems to be that Thursday is statistically the day where there are more or the most thunder and lightning events. And our National Weather Office did the same exercise for Belgium, and that was also the day with most thunder and lightning in the week. Statistically significant to the other days, so that's quite interesting, I think. And one of the reasons should be that there is quite some by Thursday that there is quite some pollution in the air from cars and things like that, from traffic and industry, and that might have some relation with that, although that is not 100% sure and proven. Okay, let's go to the States. November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. The group, how are your POTA activations going, Bob? Go ahead.
DL1BJW.
November 8, November Tango with the group of 4, Alpha Tango. Right now I have 72. Of course, my next would be 20 mile off, I'm afraid. But I'm happy with 72 of those. 82 RPX parks, so I'm happy about that too. And most of that is for, so I'm glad about that. The weather here, right now, summer has returned. It's 78 degrees Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius.
Rain off and on today. Very humid today. I had to go out this morning. I had a doctor's appointment this morning. I got home just about time to join this net. So far today, I only have, I think, one coat, and that probably is not a new part that I've already worked. I've worked quite a few. Two of the parts I've worked over 100 times, and three of the parts I've worked over 60 times. So it's getting more and more difficult for me to find a new part. But there's one part in M0TTQ that now I have on 3 different bands. I got them on 15 yesterday, so that was good. With that, back to you, Jeff. Oscar, November 8, November Tango, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. Roger, Bob. Thank you, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango, the group of 8 November Tango, and congratulations on your 1172 gold. That's brilliant, brilliant. And you seem to have some kind of an Indian swimmer, so nice, Bob. Let's go to the borders of Scotland. Golf Mike 48 Kilo Zulu, the group. Go ahead, November Tango. Go ahead, Pete.
All right, November Tango with group GM4JKZ. Jeff, good evening, Jeff, and everyone on the tonight. Temperature up here is 8.6 degrees. Very jealous of the 26 degrees, but Bob's got over there. But send some this way, would you? Because the weather looks as though it's going to come down from the north later on, so get even colder. And believe it or not, it's after we actually turned the heating on, so that's how cold it got in the house. Raining at the moment, so too brilliant. After last night, we were talking about a Hamshack dashboard. I dropped Dave N2NXX an email this afternoon asking him whether it was feasible to include the link at the bottom, Jeff. Others probably look, but more later on when we talk to you about it. The other option I asked whether we could put lcwo.net, the Learn CW Online option in there. I can get it to link to the lcwo.net page, but when I put my call sign and password in, it reverts back to the startup page again. So I've put that in the email to him just to let him know. I've also invited him to join us or have a listen in, or at least look at our website and look at the YouTube videos that we've got. So I'm now sitting back waiting to see what he has to say. And I did confirm that copyright has been maintained at all times there. So, not much else to add, other than I'm building a small little UPS for the router rather than the large mains powered one I've got. But more of that later on. Okay, back to you, Jeff. November Tango with GM4. Oh, by the way, Jim may not be coming on to speak because he has been a chesty hanging cough once he starts. It has for about 10 seconds or so, so he may be listening. November Tango, GM4JKZ.
Okay, thank you, Keith, and a very good evening to you also, Jim, if you are there. Nice to have you, and no problem that you cannot come in. We do understand 100%. Thank you very much, Keith, for contacting Dave there in the States, and probably you will get the solution from him. That's very, very good from you. That's very helpful. I think Roger G4IWO's yesterday said that he would also try to look to that and see if he could solve the problem. So we will probably get into something which is on working order, and a good idea to add the Long Island CW club to that. Yeah, very good, very good. Let's go to the top of the list again, and let's go to Golf 4 India Whiskey Oscar with maybe a little break if anyone wants to come in from GB7 Hotel X-Ray or maybe Paul G0TPB. Maybe with a short pause, we can then take the mic from 08 November Tango in the group.
08 November Tango and the group G4IWO. Nothing heard on there. Just quickly, Rachel has also, M1AYG, also popped up on YouTube to say, because she's away on holiday this week, staying up on the northeast coast. She said the weather there is awful, very high winds and torrential rain. And she's been sat listening to the marine channels this afternoon, which is obviously very interesting. She's wished us good luck for tomorrow. She said currently the wind is just over 45 miles an hour and it's going to last until tomorrow afternoon. So not the nicest place to take an evening stroll, I would say, for Rachel up there on holiday this week. Last night's meeting was interesting. It was a learning curve, and definitely I learnt that there's just too many people, which is great news. But we've got so many members in the club now that were participating last night and could also have turned up. It's impossible to do what we've done in last night's meeting, go around the whole room with everybody. And already we were testing the patience of 1 or 2 people in the meeting. So it's about, for me, and I know when we get an opportunity to chat to Jeff, ON8NC, and Ken, the 4 of us, and Rachel when she's back from holiday, we can have a chat about how to manage this properly. It's about for me, it's about getting the balance right, about how we can involve members in shaping the direction of the club that they belong to, whilst at the same time not turning meetings into something rather boring that a lot of people will just not come along to, which would be a great pity. So I think we'll get there, but we might just have to have 2 or 3 goes at finding that correct formula. And when we get it, we'll run that at all the meetings. So thank you everyone for your patience last night. And it was lovely to see so many people there. And of course, lots of people online from the digital net as well. Back to you, Jeff. ON8NT G4IWO.
IWO, 08 November Tango. And a very good evening, Rachel, to you there on your holiday location. Nice that you catch up with us here on the YouTube channel. And okay, Nick, well, I didn't have any problem with that personally. I didn't have any problem with that. But I can imagine that some people are a little bit bored about the 2 long sessions or so. But I really enjoy that. And the good thing is, of course, that everyone is taking the mic, so to say, and that there is no dominating people or dominating voices in the group. If you organize that in that way, that's quite a good point. But on the other hand, it could become a little bit boring. So maybe we should look to other things, other solutions. And I think the solution that Adriana proposed, I think, was to ask for proposals before the meeting, and then give the people who has given a proposal the mic to explain what they would like to have, and then have some reactions on that or so. Or maybe some voting. So that's I'm sure Nick we will survive. we will arrange that. Okie doke. G6MJQ, the group for 8 November Tango.
ON8 November Tango. G6MJQ. Yeah. Firstly, hi to Rachel. Sorry the weather's a bit poor where you are. Wonder exactly where you are. One of our favourite places is Bamborough up there. And and Whitley Bay as well. So just wonder where you are on that side of the country, I think. And Nick, I thought it was an interesting meeting. I wasn't bored at all. Interesting meeting in meetings, so, shall I say, very much a learning curve, and you suddenly realise how many varied interests there are in the umbrella topic of ham radio or amateur radio. And, some people go down certain channels that they've done for years and years and years, and others, like me and Jeff, they're excited to experiment sooner than forever doing 5-9 and 7-3 sort of calls. But I'll come to some experiments later on. But yeah, very much a learning curve. And maybe people put in ideas for an agenda, and then you guys at the top there running it look through the agenda and publish that a week before the meeting or several days before, and take it from there. Just an idea, but yeah, a difficult one. But don't be disheartened, Nick. It'll all come good, because I think it's great. Yes, Peter, sound card problems. Frequently what happens with updates on Windows updates is that it screws up the drivers for the sound card. And I've had that happen a few times, and I've had to manually download the installation for the sound card drivers, install them, restart the PC, and it'll pick it up and solve the problems, because I couldn't get Zoom some weeks ago with the sound on Zoom, and I did that. And I too have two notebooks, one that I call my works one, a more professional one, and one just take a bit. G67JQ. Yeah, and another one for radio, and a bit of experimentation, and also as a WiseX node, which is running most of the time, especially when I'm away. So back to you, Jeff. Oscar November 8 and November Tango. Golf 6 Mike Juliet Quebec.
6MJQ. 18 November Tango. Thank you very much, AD. And I think, yeah, you are probably right about Windows updates and so on and so on. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And I see on APRS that you are exactly 444 kilometers from me. So that's good. And by the way, Rachel, you inquired a little bit about the OpenSpot 4. It also has APRS. I forgot to mention that APRS and POXA, which is something I have never used. But anyway, these are some of the other possibilities you have with that hotspot. Okay, now let's go to Peter, Mike 0, Papa Bravo Fox Group, 18 November Tango.
Oscar November 8, November Tango, M0 PBF. Well, at the moment, I've got the lightning, where the lightning has occurred, and from the UK Met Office, we get, I don't know how far it would get into Germany, Mike. At the moment, it's showing that the Netherlands are getting a particular battering of thunderstorms. Particularly just off the coast of Rotterdam, between Rotterdam and Amsterdam, and then over Arnhem. And then there is a line of thunderstorms in, I guess, what must be northwestern Germany. There is no real, there's no names that I recognize, but Harren, Hotel Alpha Romeo Echo November is one town where there seems to be quite a few, and then Lingen,
Lima Indigo November Golf Echo November. There's a line of thunderstorms there, of lightning strikes there. Quite luckily at the moment, I can have this. There's only 3 marked lightning strikes in the UK, just off the Norfolk coast. So there we are. But it is threatening to be quite a stormy night. That there's quite a large front over the UK, which will probably have moved on by tomorrow, and moving generally, I guess, in a southwesterly direction. Looks like that to me. So there we are. That's weather's always interesting, but unpredictable, of course, in my view. And yeah, thanks, Adrian. So I've played about with the drivers, according to my dear lady wife. I play about with too many things at the same time, and so when I do eventually fix something, I have no idea how I've actually fixed it. She used to tell people that that my main hobby was to re-engineer things, never being content with the way they are. So there you are. So back to you, Jeff. Oscar November 8, November Tango, Mike 0, Papa Bravo, Foxtrot.
Hey, Roger, Peter, Mike 0, Papa Bravo, Foxtrot. Over 8 November Tango, thank you for more weather information there. Yeah, so not above Belgium, although I saw some lightning and some thunder here, but maybe it's very local. Okie doke. And I forgot something. Oh yeah. What I have done is I have put all my antennas down just as a precaution, because if I'm here sharing the net and all of a sudden you get some heavy thunderstorm and lightning and so on, I don't want to play on the safe side anyway. Okie doke. Mike and Adriana, Delta Lima 1, Bravo, Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8, DDD. 8 November Tango, go ahead, Mike and Adriana.
Delta Lima 1, Bravo, Juliet Whiskey. First of all, Peter, thank you for the information. Actually, you pronounce it right. It's Lingen, Haven, and there was another city, I think. And these are about 40-50 miles to our southwest. So it's not far away, really. Yeah, so it will come to us in quite a short time, I'm afraid, yeah. And Bob, and for XAT, I'm always absolutely dumbfounded, astonished, or how do you call it, surprised in hearing how many parks you are working on the air there. It seems unbelievable. Congratulations to that. And yeah, some news from our radio activities in the last week or something like that. Yeah, there were quite a lot of contests here, and we participated in them with our NFET antenna, NFET half-wave antenna, and our Rybakov, and the NFET half-wave gave very good results. In the morning, I worked WH7T in Honolulu, Hawaii, in SSB with 100 watts on the NFET half-wave. And later on, with only 3 watts, so QRPP, so to speak, station from the East Coast, and a station from French Guyana, Foxtrot Yankee 5 Kilo Echo, 3 watts SSB. It was quite amazing. On FT4, I was working with 50 watts on 10 meters and at 20 meters, and worked VI7 POL. That was an event station from Australia, transmitting in FT4 because there was an anniversary for the Australian police. There was a week activity. And Foxtrot Kilo 8 Hotel Mike from New Caledonia also on 50 watts NFET halfway for 10 meters. And CW, there were two things to be noted down. First of all, station from the East Coast, Kilo 1 Oscar Victor with 20 watts and the Rybakov antenna, which is, as I mentioned before, ground mounted, and the very small version of the Rybakov, which is only 4.9 meters long, and has got only three radials, which are each about 3 meters long, so nothing spectacular really, but it's working. 20 watts CW into the East Coast, and mainly with the same antenna, but with 100 watts CW. Have been working ZL3XDJ again, Zulu Lima 3 X-ray Delta Juliet from South Island of New Zealand, and he gave me only 4, 4, and 9. But nevertheless, I was very satisfied with that. So enough of me bragging about. I pass the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, this is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Yes, last Thursday we couldn't take part in the net because we had been at the coast for 2 days. One night, so there was a little bit of problem with the internet connection, and therefore we hadn't been able to set up B-Star. But we had taken a little bit of our HF equipment with us, and the NFET halfway, the portable NFET halfway with the QLP guys, 1 to 49 Anon, and a very small wire, and this wire we had taken crisscross from the inside of the apartment up to the window and outside then, and so we had been able to put up all the 10-meter wire, and with my TrueSDX I made a little bit of tests on FT8 and CW, and this worked quite well. I have been heard all over Europe, and I had also been heard in Northern America, and so it has been quite a success with only 2.5 watts output, and this was quite interesting. So I'm very glad that this has been possible. Yes, congratulations also from my side, Bob, for your POTA contact. This is quite amazing what you're working there. This is very, very good. And I think I'm very interested to hear a little bit more what will take place tomorrow and during the weekend in Newark on our club store there. This will be very interesting to hear, because it's the first time the club will be shown at such an event, and I think this will be a great event. So I hand the microphone back to Oscar November 8 November Tango.
Okay, thank you, Mike and Adriana, Delta Lima 1 Bravo, Juliet Whiskey, and Delta Lima 8 BDP. And congratulations, Mike and Adriana, on the contacts you made. That's brilliant. And also with, antenna string through the apartment and so on with 3 or 3 watts. That's really fantastic. And with the Rybakov seems to be working very, very well. Unfortunately, I don't have enough character to be up in the early morning to work some VKs and ZLs. And very often in the morning I also have to help the Israel a little bit in the household. some shopping and things like that. So I really would like to be more active in the early mornings here, and probably also try some of the VKs and L's and Fox Kilos and so on and so on. Okie doke. Bob, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango, the group, 08 November Tango. Oscar, November 8, November Tango, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. Once again, good evening to anyone that can hear me on the first round. I have a bunch of notes here. I'll try to get through them as fast as I can. First of all, on the audio codec, I have run into some problems with WSJTX especially. And generally speaking, if I reboot my computer and then I reboot my 705, it works. Sometimes I do have to go and reload the text, but I've also found in the configuration that if it says you can't find them, if there's a little arrow to the right of it, it's WSGTX and configuration. If I hit that, it'll show them, and I can load them that way. So, but I especially of course after your weekly updates, things like that happen. I realize that. Second thing I have is on Handshake. On Handshake, I show 7 different things underneath of it, and one of them is NetLogger, and within NetLogger right now it's showing, I think they're all American, but it's showing several different people that are on that net. Florida statewide emergency, Jefferson Noon, nuts and bolts and screws, Skyhawk link, weather outlook, and Old Miss is showing up on mine right now. But of course, I haven't logged in. I'm just looking at the bottom of my Handshake, and that's one of the options that show on mine. Don't ask me why. I haven't done anything to it, so that's it. Recently, I've been experimenting quite a bit with my two telescopic antennas. One I have a trap on the bottom. That's the MFJ one I say. And I have to go out to readjust the trap for different frequencies, but I have tried that, and sometimes I do fairly well with that. On 20 meters, generally, I just use my mag loop. I have that mag loop, which is about a yard in circle, and that seems to be fine on 20 meters all the time. I have to tune it up for 20 meters. Usually, I can get maybe 20 or 30 kilocycles on one tune, so that's all I do. And then that radio does. I enjoyed the meeting last night. I thought that was very interesting. I wish I could have stayed afterwards, but I had other obligations, so I couldn't. I wish that I was there to go to the And with that, back to you, Jeff. ON8NP, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. Yeah, okay. Well, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango, ON8 November Tango. Well, sorry to hear about WSGA TX. Up till now, I didn't have that problem. I'm running it on a Linux machine, which I have no problems, and I also run it on a small Windows 11 computer, and up till now, I didn't have any issues with that. So that's quite strange. That's quite strange. Could it be something else like RF which is coming into the computer or so? That could be also an option. Or maybe using some ferrite cores or some ferrite clamps around the USB cable which is coming from your transceiver to the computer, or maybe you are using Bluetooth. That's also possible with the 795, I think. And okay, about the Hamshack, well, in our version that I made here, I put NetLogger out and I replaced it by a POTA, I think by POTA, and also by a contest calendar and some other goodies, I think. So yeah, but I can send you our version, Bob, if you would like to have that. And okay, about the telescopic rig and the mag loop. Very nice that you have such good results with the mag loop. I had a mag loop, I still have it. It's at the cellar, but I didn't have good results at all in reception, brilliant, but then transmit didn't work anymore. So I think the iron thing at the building here was, upsetting a little bit everything. Okay, let's go to Scotland. By the way, Scotland. I think last Friday or Saturday, there was an opening on 2 meters, and I worked 3 Scottish stations in FT8, which is exceptional. It was 3 or 4 years ago that I worked a station in FT8 on an FT8 from Scotland, but on Friday or Saturday, I worked 3 in a row, of which one was at the very, very top of Scotland, so which was a new locator. So Golf Mike 4, Juliet Kilo Zulu, the group of an 8 November Tango.
November Tango GM4JKZ. Yeah, that sounds good. Unfortunately for me, I'm behind a hill to the south and the east. I've got a clear takeoff north, but 2 meters. I've only got a code linear here. I've got the dynamic beam, which, if the weather improves, I might go on top of the car and go up on top of the hill somewhere once we perhaps next summer, when we perhaps get some dates where we all get together, perhaps. But that's very good. Working the top of the column there, Jeff. Well done. And also, well done to Adriana and Mike working on an internal antenna with low power. Excellent stuff. Really envious of that one. Okay. Aid mentioned an agenda for the meeting last night, by the way. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's interesting to sit back and listen to everybody's comments and suggestions. But I agree with Aid that an agenda would be useful. So trawl everybody, say a couple of weeks before the next one, gather their thoughts into one sort of document and feed it out, so that everybody's aware of what is going to be discussed at the next meeting. A bit like you would normally run I've run many meetings at work in my time, and it works extremely well. The other thing, of course, you can limit people to 2 minutes with a timer on it. I think last Friday I worked 30 stations on 60 metres. I was taken at that. I think I made a comment on WhatsApp. And the Canadian station, 2,800 miles, was my best work, so to speak. I was pretty chuffed. And the other thing I was going to suggest was people use, I don't know if anybody's using the WSJTX development version, which is 2.7.1 dev. But I tried to work a station in Spain the other night, and I gave up in the end, and I turned the transmit off. Was busy writing something down, and all of a sudden he called me back, and the system automatically picked up on it and replied to him on my behalf. So I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, or whether or not I was dreaming it. I'm not too sure. But there we go. Back to you there, Jeff. 8 November Tango with the group GM4JKZ.
GM4JKZ, the group of an 8 November Tango. Okie dokie. It's very interesting. Well, I'm using not the development version, which seems to have some other interesting options, like if you are working satellite and FT4 like I do. There is now an option to select in the log of the WSJTX satellite, and then you get a list of satellites, and you can log that in one run. Otherwise, I have to work on my other log. I disconnected to another log, and I have to adapt the log to say what satellite it was and so on and so on. But now that seems to be built into the development version, which I haven't not installed. I have the previous version, the RC6, I think, the RC6, which is a previous testing version. So maybe I have to look into that 2.7.1 version, I think it is. Okie doke. And okay, about 60 meters. I think 60 meters is a very, very interesting band. From time to time, I'm trying to use this, and I noticed that actually, like in the Sunday morning or so, there is a British net and free DV and free digital SSD, so to say, and they are coming in quite well, I think. So sometimes from here, propagation to G is quite good in phone, but also in digital. Okay, let's go to Nick. Nick, let's leave a short pause if anyone would like to come in from GB7HX or one of our other guys there. Go ahead, Nick. Go for India Whiskey Oscar, the group of an 8 November Tango.
Oscar November 8 November Tango from G4IWO. Yes, interesting discussion there, and Keith's description up there on the Scottish borders of his location probably in many ways is similar to mine. And when I live at the top of a hill here in the Pennines, but I'm surrounded by hills which are higher. And the problem for me is I love working portable, but I like to put my boots on and a rucksack and walk up to those hills. The fact I can get up onto the Pennine Bridleway in less than 15 minutes from where I live, and the Pennine Way in about half an hour gives you an indication of my location. But the weather conditions, where it's very windy and very wet, just do not lend themselves to portable operating in any pleasant kind of way. So unfortunately for me, that's a big shame. I know I'll have to go out in the car at some stage, but that doesn't quite hold the same attraction for me as being walking up to the location to operate from. Yeah, I mean, I did enjoy the meeting last night, of course, but I want everyone to enjoy it, and it's about finding the right way. And I do totally agree with the point that Adriana made, and that people have picked up today, that we probably need to ask people who've got ideas to be prepared to table them and to come along and talk to them at the meeting, and that way enable those people to take part. And I also agree with the point that Jeff made, and others as well, that by going around the room, it does mean that it's not dominated by one or two people, as lots of organisations and clubs can be, which is a great shame, and obviously we want to avoid. But as I said, I'm very optimistic about the future. We're recruiting members, virtually every day. I'm hoping we'll reach a new audience down at the Hamfest. I'll have a big screen down there. I can put some of our videos up there. So Mike and Adriana, you may well appear on the screen at our table tomorrow. And I'm hoping we have some good chats and get round to talk to people. I do think it would be a good idea, Jeff, to organise some talks on specific subjects. So, I know that there's various YouTube videos around on JS8 Call, for example, but maybe we should have someone come and give us a talk about it in the club in the coming weeks. Yeah, so much to do, and I know we'll get there and we'll have a lot of fun on the way. That's the key thing to all this for me. It's about having fun. HF, I forgot to mention that earlier. I did dive in earlier today. I thought the conditions were very poor on HF, sadly, today, and where they had been really superb 2 or 3 days ago on 10 meters was very poor today. I think there's been another CME which has disrupted HF propagation as well. So that's a bit of a pity. It's a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it? But that's radio for you, as we all know, those of us that have been playing with this for quite a few years. So back to you, Jeff. Oh, and 8NT in the group, G4IWO.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I had no problem at all with the meeting yesterday, but I can imagine some people find it a little bit too long-winding or so. But I really enjoyed to listen to everyone and to hear their views and ideas. So that's very interesting. En dat wij to take the temperature a little bit to see what kind of interest people have and so on and so on. It was a little bit like a questionnaire um, um, from all kind of strange things or interest that people have in ham radio. So that's quite interesting. Okay, 80 Golf 6 Mexico Juliet Quebec, the Grupo in November Tango. Very shortly, but could you try again? Golf 6, Mexico Juliet, Quebec. The Grupo in November Tango. Go ahead, Daddy. I think Eddie has a problem. Let's go to the next one. Eddie, we will come back to you. Peter, Mike 0, Bravo, Papa Bravo, Foxtrot. Mike 0, Papa Bravo, Foxtrot, the Grupo in November Tango. Go ahead, Peter.
Oscar November 8, November Tango, Mike 0, Papa Bravo, Foxtrot. Well, I thought he did an excellent job last night. He can't control in the meet, and the number of people on him. I must admit, I've got a slight allergy to meetings. I think I got that from spending too much time during my career sat in meetings, and I ended my career in Brussels, and the group I was involved with involved about 8 or 9 different nationalities, and if we had a meeting, things could devolve into chaos very quickly indeed. And my Italian colleague would tolerate it for about 2 minutes, and then he'd just get up and walk out. So I must admit to having a slight allergy to meetings, but I thought that was very good. And I think the idea of people putting forward proposals and then discussing them is a very good way to go. That seems that it seems to make the most of having a range of opinion, while at the same time it not just dissolving away into nothing. Which I always had a tendency to feel meetings did. I always thought you were there for a discussion and were that the capability of taking decisions was inversely proportional to the number of people involved. So I'll lay my cards on the table as far as that one is concerned. But I thought, as I say, I thought you did an excellent job. I was a bit disappointed myself. I couldn't get this out to you, perhaps. So I'll make this my final, if I may, and go back and join my wife. And so thank you, Jeff, for running the meeting, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your company and conversation. And stay safe, look after yourselves. And so back to you, Jeff. Oscar November 8, November Tango, Mike 0, Papa Bravo, Foxtrot. So disease to all.
G6MJQ. P6, M, J, Q.
I think, Adrian, it's very strange. You are appearing on the dashboard and you are coming in for maybe a second and then you disappear again. So I don't know what the problem is. But anyway, let's check with Mike and Adriana if they have the same problem. And I see, yeah, you logged out. You logged in and you logged out again. So I will go to Mike and Adriana to see if they have the same experience. Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 BDP, the Grupo in 8 November Tango.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey, absolutely the same experience over here, Jeff.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, so that's probably you probably have a problem, Adrian. But anyway, we will come back to you a little bit later. So go ahead, Mike and Adriana.
Yeah, Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. We are following the good example of Peter and make this our finals now. So thank you for hosting the net, for your good work there, Jeff. And thank you, all of you, for your participation and very interesting thoughts and comments and so on. And it was, again, very nice digital net on Thursday evening. So statistically, as Jeff said, there are more thunderstorms on Thursday, but there are also absolutely more digital nets on Thursday, and that's a good one. So, okay, thank you, all of you. Take care, stay safe. Hope to see you safe and sound next week. This was DL1BJW, wishing you 73 from Northern Germany and passing the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango with the final. Yes, thank you very much, Jeff, for hosting the net, and thank you all of you for this interesting evening. It was, as always, a pleasure. And yes, I hope that tomorrow it will be a great success and a great experience there at New York. And I'm looking forward to your report, Nick, and to videos and photos and so on. Will be very interesting. And yes, for all of you, have a nice weekend. And 73 and 88 from Northern Germany. This was Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango. Handing the microphone back to Oscar November 8 November Tango for them.
Okay, Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango. Thank you very much for your participation, Mike and Adriana. Very nice. Always nice to have you all on the net here, and it was a nice net, I think. And I hope you have some good days, probably with better weather and some time for experimenting and do some tests and so on and so on. So really nice. Okay, and Bob, let's go to Bob for his final. November 4 X-Ray Alpha Tango Group, Go 8 November Tango.
Thank you once again for running the net, Jeff. I certainly enjoyed my Thursday afternoon here with you fellows, and usually I pick up some good information. First of all, Nick, I'm looking forward to your reports from the Handfest tomorrow. Looking forward to anything that you post. I'll make sure that I peruse and hope that we pick up lots of interest while you're at the Handfest tomorrow. I haven't heard from Tom, but generally speaking, he calls me either tonight or tomorrow, and we probably will be on the ship on Saturday as usual. And normally, like I say, we usually get there around 1300, and I work anywhere from 20 meters through 10 meters, and
Tom usually works 30 and sometimes 40. So if you're around, and if you'd like SSB, hey, I'm available on SSB, even though I may have trouble reading some of what you have to say. I don't do bad here in D-Star, so maybe if we go to HS, my ears could perk up a bit more if I got a little more SSB in my system. Let's see, is there anything else? No, I think that's about it. So I'll pass my 73s to everyone on the net and all the listeners. And thank you again, Jeff, for running it. Oscar November 8, Juliet Tango November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango 73 to all. Okay, thank you very much, Bob, and I will certainly look out for you on the Saturday. It will be let's start in NCW. And if your senior is strong enough, we could probably go to single sideband. But I always, nearly every Saturday, I look out for you to see if I can see you around the known frequencies there. But during the last couple of weeks, I was not successful. Okay, though. Let's go to the Scottish Borders. Gold Mike 4 Juliet Kilo Zulu, the group of an 8 November Tango.
Oh, 8 November Tango, GM4JKZ is final, yes, okay there. Yeah, I was listening out for you as well, Bob. But don't forget, this weekend is 48 hours of the CQ Worldwide Rugby. So, Jeff may be operating in that. I certainly will be. I'm wondering if you can run Ritty from the ship. That would be a feather in a cap, wouldn't it? And yeah, talking about meetings. At least we're not like local government where they have meetings to decide how many meetings they're going to have and then sub-meeting. So, yeah, it was very good yesterday, I must admit. And Nick, enjoy tomorrow. Be interesting to see what comes out of Hamfest. And you also mentioned something about up and down the roller coaster. I've got 2 very large roller coasters here that I've forgotten about, which I've had for about 55 years. So, and they're still silver plated and still relatively clean. But enough of that, he said. Okay, thanks, Jeff, for running the net. Very much appreciated. I've got a picture to follow later. I'll wait for your guide. And to all the other listeners, including Jim if he's there, a very good evening to one and all. Oscar November 8, November Tango. Back to you, Jeff, from GM4JKZ.
Yeah, Pete, and thank you for the tip about the contest. I certainly will be participating in that. And in between, I will have a look for Bob. So I will probably be on 10 meters, 15 meters, 20 meters, trying to do some contest there. So that's very, very good. Okay, though. I will give the microphone again to Adrian to give him a chance to come in. Adrian, if you want to come in, go ahead.
Oscar, November 8, November Tango, B67JQ. Yeah, quite what happened, I'm not sure. I can see I'm putting it down. Dashboard. I lost the reflector with my spot for some reason. I had to reconnect. I did hear part of Peter's over, and then I lost it. And who knows what's happened. But briefly before I say 73s, a bit of news. New firmware from Zygo for the X6100 and new R1 CPU software that allows FT8 to run standalone on the 6100 this week, over the last week. A few problems, etc., but I've been playing with it and running FT8 today on 17 and 10 and quite a few contacts, QSOs, and heard in the western states, the south of India, China, and had a real humdinger on 17 meters and 10 meters. And I checked on your activities Jeff, and you did even better today. Hundreds of spots on similar bands, I think 17, 10, and 15. Was it 12 as well? Anyway, with that, I'll say sunseas, everybody. Good night. Enjoyed it. And try and get them next week as well. Yeah. Cheers all, and thanks, Jeff, for chairing. Oscar November 8, November Tango, G6MJQ. Sunseas all.
G6MJQ. Grupo in 8 November Tango, very happy that you could make it at last, Adrian. Very happy that you could make it. And very interesting about the 6100. I think it's quite interesting because that is a kind of a transceiver you can tinkering a little bit with, with the software and digital modes and things like that. That's really, if I would invest in a new transceiver, which I, honestly speaking, and my wife is away, she's on to a Google lesson, so I can speak freely. Honestly, I don't need it. If I would have a new transceiver, that would be probably the one that I would like to have, just to tinkering away, and enjoy myself. Anyway, okay. Let's give the last word to Nick. And Nick, I hope, I'm also very curious about you are. Maybe you will be able to give some interviews to the guy who is doing the ham television programs there on the internet. I forgot his name, but I know that he is running around and having some interviews with people and so on. So maybe this is your chance to become world famous known Nick Okido. And just a question, Nick, I forgot the call sign from Henry. Henry which was in the meeting yesterday. It's Mike Zero, and I forgot his call sign. Could you give me that, Nick? Go for India Whiskey Oscar, the Grupo in 8 November Tango. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, and 8 November Tango in the group from G4IWO. Yeah, Henry's Kuzan is Mike Zero Zulu Alpha Echo M0ZAE, Jeff. I think that's Henry. Yeah, no, it was thoroughly enjoyable, and we had a lot of fun, and really looking forward to tomorrow down at Newark. And as you say, Jeff, I'm sure we'll get some interviews in with people. If they don't interview us, we'll go and talk to them. So it'll be interesting to be there behind the scenes before it opens to the radio amateur community, and just have a little wander around and hopefully chat for a little bit before it actually starts. But it's going to be busy for us setting the stall up first thing. So on that, wish everyone a very, very pleasant evening. Wish our viewers on YouTube a very pleasant evening. And of course, say goodbye to our listeners on YouTube who catch up with the digital net later in the week, whenever it suits them. Thank you for tuning in to us. Hope you found our little chats interesting and useful. And by all means, send us a message, and we'll post it into the net as we're having them. So 73s to them, 73s to everyone on the net, and catch you all next week. 8 November Tango in the group G4IWO.
IWO, 8 November Tango, thank you very much for the call sign of Henry. Nick, I really was forgotten, but now that you say, it comes back again. Probably age. Yeah, thank you everyone for participating. It was a nice net. Good evening, also good day to everyone on the YouTube channel, to Rachel, to Terry, and probably a lot of others. And in order to close the net, I think I'll let you send a picture first, Keith, and then I will send a picture of my ugly balloon that I made as a common mode show for HF. So I will send a picture of that. So let's go to you first, Keith, to send the picture. Go ahead.